Blessings to you for another day of Back Down History Lane, where we are reading Yah's Word, bringing it to life, and allowing you to be able to get some edifying education for yourself and something to go back and read for yourself to make sure you get it. But make sure that you are praying and talking to the Father so that you have a acceptable open heart so that he can speak to you that way. Yah is just that good. He speaks to us through his word. So sometimes just reading it, you don't get it. But I tell you, if you set the scene and set your heart right for him, it will be just that and more. And so let's jump in. We're coming from Genesis 29. But before we even read, I got to lay the scene where Jacob left off at. So as he's departed from his brother, Esau went one way, Jacob went the other. Now you have Jacob coming in contact with his uncle Laban. So he's on the run. He's on the run, and as he's on the run, he has to find his uncle Laban, and he has found his uncle Laban. Also, let me lay this foundation that back in the days, they did what we know as prearranged marriages. So you take Rebecca, which was Jacob and Esau's mother. She already knew who she wanted her sons to marry. She's like, oh, yup, you're going to marry my brother's kids, which is Leah and Rachel. And their names are entered in the beginning of Genesis 29. So that exposes who they are. And so Rebecca, which is Jacob and Esau's mother, had it already laid out. So Esau was to really marry Leah. Jacob was to marry Rachel. That's how it was supposed to originally go, and it did not go that way because we know that Esau was doing his own thing and he did the opposite of what his mother wanted. So that just left Jacob to leave the lineage to come, to lead the 12 that was soon to come. And that is where we're pretty much at right now, as we walk into that. And so that is just that's it. That's how we got here. Laban is Rebecca's brother, which makes him really Jacob's uncle. But then, we really don't have an account for how they did things then. So we will call that today incest, right? And so they did a lot of that only to create the 12 tribes. It had to happen that way. Who else was they going to sleep with? And so that is where we're at, and we're going to start. This actually has more drama than what you think. I was reading and I thought and I stopped. I said, Jacob had not two baby mamas, not one. He had four baby mamas. Four baby mamas as we keep reading. And so out of them four baby mothers, you call them wives back then and concubines, but altogether is four baby mamas. And that is how the 12 tribe came about. And without it, it wouldn't have been. It was all part of prophecy. And when the Father says something is going to happen, generally it's going to happen because he's not a man that he should lie. And his word is true. It's true. Man, it's true. It's true. There's no other way to say it. So let's see. Let's see the key points where we can also break down in the beginning of here. And excuse me, I'm gonna have to read over and jump right to where we can. Let's go at Genesis 29 and 15. When Jacob first encountered his uncle, we read that, he was so happy to see him. But my extra reading material that I've read out of, and you have to do that, it shows that he was not happy to see his nephew, because we're talking Jacob. Jacob just received the blessing from his father, right? So he had money, jewels, everything. And when he got to Laban, he had nothing. Remember, we said he was on a run. So he lost a lot on that journey before he even reached his uncle. So therefore, when he got to his uncle, he was broke. He came to Laban broke. But scripture does not tell us all the emphasis on there. So Laban's looking around like, well, where's all this stuff that you supposed to have? The jewels. And so you mean to tell me I gotta provide work for you for 7 years? That was what they came into. That was what they came into. And so next week I wanted to go also break down Genesis 29:17. We want to talk about Leah's eye. And so it just says that, let me make sure I'm there. It pretty much just says, it does not say much, but Leah's eyes were weak. And what scripture does not explain to us is, I wanted to dig deeper and understand. And in my extra reading material, it broke it down. Leah's eye was, we will think she was, it said weak eyes, or some people put it in cock eye, or whatever you want to say. It doesn't matter. But scripture not scripture, the extra reading material puts an emphasis on why her eyes was weak. It said that she wept so much in prayer that she did not want to marry Esau. Remember when I just explained about the pre-arranged marriages? She was like, no, Father, no, please don't let me marry him. He is crazy. He is crazy. I don't want him. And so the continued crying left her eyes of a weak nature. And so obviously she had to do a lot of crying. And so we even get into this little thing where Genesis 29 breaks it down. Obviously we know that is not who Jacob really wanted to marry. Jacob really wanted to marry Rachel. He wasn't into Leah. He was not into her. He wanted Rachel. And you have to go read these a little bit more detail after I give you this synopsis, break it down. He really wanted to marry Rachel. And so that put more hurt into Leah. So can you imagine why she was always crying? Because she was always probably put to the back burner. But it was something about her not wanting to marry Esau, because again, we talk about the prearranged marriage. It was already set for her to marry, for Leah to marry Esau, and Rachel to marry Jacob. But Leah was like, nah, no, Father, please don't do this to me. And obviously that just left Jacob to marry Leah and Rachel. And I am going to have to leave this here. I think that I said a mouthful for you to even get. So tomorrow, Father willing, we're going to jump into where his children started. That was just the breakdown of how did we even get here, where he met his cousin at the well, and now he's reached his uncle, and uncle not really happy about him. But so far, you can read it now with a mindset of understanding. And when we return, I will be more than happy to break down who was the first son of the 12 tribes. I pray that your day is exuberant in every way, making sure that you read for yourself, get to know the Father, that you say, Father, I am grateful. Until we return, have a marvelous day.